The day I looked my father dead in the eye and said, "Touch 1% more of what I earned, and I'll make sure every relative, every neighbor, every lawyer knows exactly who's been trying to steal from their own stepdaughter," the kitchen clock seemed to stop ticking. Silence swallowed the room. My stepmother, Marissa, set her tea down so carefully it barely made a sound. My father's mouth opened, closed, opened again, but nothing came out. For the first time in years, he saw me not as the grieving teenager he'd left behind, but as the woman the Marines had forged, calm, precise, and finished with excuses. I'd always pictured family rifts exploding, plates shattering, voices cracking ceilings. Instead, ours crumbled in whispers and spreadsheets. Mom was taken by leukemia at 16. 1 month she was laughing at my terrible prom hair. The next, I was scattering her ashes over the lake she loved, while strangers patted my shoulder and murmured, "You're so brave." Brave felt like a gag order on grief. Dad remarried 13 months later. Enter Marissa, charming, church-going, always ready with homemade scones for the block party. She called me sweetie from day one, draped an arm around my shoulders like we'd shared secrets forever. Everyone adored her. "Your dad deserves this joy," they said. I nodded, 17 and suspicious, but too raw to fight. When I shipped out for boot camp at 19, Dad squeezed me tight. Marissa dabbed her eyes with a tissue, careful not to smudge her eyeliner. "We'll keep the home fires burning," she promised. I wanted to believe someone was still on my side. Service drilled suspicion out of me, or drilled it deeper. I learned to spot tells, a too quick smile, a glance that lingered on my phone when notifications pinged, the way conversations circled back to finances like sharks scenting blood. It started small. Video calls where Marissa would sigh, "Military pay must be nice, wish we had that cushion." Then, "Ever think about power of attorney? Just in case." Dad would clear his throat, stare at the floor. I brushed it off. Until I couldn't. On leave, I found Mom's jewelry box moved to the attic, replaced by Marissa's collection. "Old photo albums of my childhood vacations? Donated," she said breezily, decluttering for positive energy. My gut twisted. Then came the alerts. A credit freeze inquiry from Dad's zip code. An email glitch forwarding me a pre-approval offer addressed to him, listing my income as collateral. A locked filing drawer in the den with printouts. My pay stubs, my TSP statements, scribbled notes reading "Discuss joint access, frame as family security." I didn't scream. I secured everything. New accounts. Two-factor on steroids. Fraud flags. I photographed every page I found, time-stamped every call log. Marissa sensed the shift. Her compliments turned probing. "You seem so independent lately." Dad grew quieter, smaller, always checking her expression before speaking. The real test came at Thanksgiving. Cousins, aunts, too much turkey. Marissa raised her glass, "To our soldier, and the stability she brings this house." Laughter rippled. I met Dad's eyes across the table. He looked away. That night I cornered him in the garage. I found the papers. The inquiries. The notes. He rubbed his neck. "She's just planning for our future." Whose future? Silence. I walked back inside, sat beside Marissa on the couch, and spoke low enough that only she and Dad could hear. "My money stays mine. Any more planning behind my back, and I file reports, bank fraud, identity attempts, everything. I have copies, dates, screenshots. Witnesses won't be hard to find." Marissa's face froze in that perfect hostess mask. Dad exhaled like he'd been punched. I stood, grabbed my coat. "I'm not asking for apologies. I'm telling you the line's drawn." I left the next morning before dawn. No dramatic exit, no slammed doors, just the quiet click of a lock I no longer needed to open. Months later, holiday cards arrived. Marissa's handwriting was neater, careful. Dad's short note, "We miss you." No mention of money. No requests. I keep the evidence folder, just in case. But mostly, I keep the lesson Mom never got to teach me: love doesn't entitle anyone to your life savings, or your peace. Some families break with fireworks. Mine broke with a single, steady sentence that finally cut through the polite lies. And in that silence afterward, I finally came home, to myself.